welcome back. We're watching an episode of Call of the Night, and, well, for everyone that is tough of sleeping, or those that just don't really have a good concept of time and stay awake until 6:30 in the morning, maybe something relatable, as long as you kind of disregard the addition of vampires. But if you were a late sleeper, an early riser, all the rest of it, wishing to become part of the vampire family, joining through the use of love. Now, granted, even though it's not quite part of the lore that I know of vampires, not seeing the sun being the caveat of actually joining this race wouldn't actually affect me all too much. Personally, it'd be more of a justification for my current way of life. At the end of the last episode, we did see the introduction of a new character, one that was carrying the wristwatch, transmitter device, walkie-talkie-esque thing that he had placed so many years ago. Why exactly she was carrying it and calling him now, we may have to see. Just taking a nice stroll. I mean, what's wrong with early hours of the morning? I guess the also question is, why is she up? That is a cutting question. Does he need it in a written contract? We are friends now, and this is to prove it. He has trouble distinguishing his closeness with people. Why can't you just ask? I mean, if you're unsure, if you've been speaking to them for a while, it's probably safe to assume. But if you're not sure, confirm through asking. What's the issue there? Even if it seems a little odd. He is such a kind of blank slate when it comes to, well, quite a few things actually, but how reactionary is he going to be? Especially when it comes into trying to obtain friends. Waiting for others to confirm their place. And the disparity between this opening and the kind of the what was being talked about just before isn't lost on me. Now, sitting around a monitor looking at what you've managed to create and being unimpressed by it, I'm actually fairly well versed in that feeling. And how long is he going to have the bite wounds? Gave it to her. That's a different memory to what he remembers, putting it on top of the mailboxes. And made a lot of friends. Something quite drastic is to have happened, considering her retelling of events slightly different to his. Ah, okay, so it's not that different. It is. Oh, so just lucky placement, but not much has changed. There you go. Affirmation. Friends. People are complicated. Is it? You've got what you want. Someone on the other end of that transceiver is not so lonely anymore. A, a friend. Interesting in its own right. In his own way. He's here to watch the insect as well. See, sometimes being the outcast and the weirdo leads into somewhat decent scenarios, getting a friend out of it. Now he's not. That seemed so pained. How hard did he have to force that one out? It depends on your outlook. If you get up early or go to sleep late, but good. They have the same sort of exercise and the like. They now have that needed to be told her immediately. Congratulations. I guess keeping that thing wasn't a waste of time after all. Hmm. But she's picking up on the fact that he's, oh god, such a sultry affair. I mean, she's only in it for his blood. And his response there kind of sells that. At what point does the joking and pranks end? Mm. I mean, he did tell her that he had a friend. Such a new turn of events. Why wouldn't you want to try and at least keep that up a little? out of breath. And at what point is this small talk is sometimes a good way, especially if you haven't met with them in years. Actually, more reserved. It's more that he is thinking less of himself, so therefore. I know. Much like being friends, maybe he needs to have things set out and confirmed as well. Although that one might be a bit quick to ask. There's a stalker. Long coat like that in a park, middle and early morning. Got a flasher. As if there's nothing else that could possibly be going on. Do you know this strange person? Is she only... And all of the image that everyone has given to him in their minds have either been confirmed or altered slightly just then. I mean, if just... Well, maybe not a great idea to inform everyone about how vampires exist, but I mean, there's definitely one way to say exactly how their relationship is. A very good, decent question. Yeah, maybe it's best not to get involved with him then, if that's what he's into. Such a wild ride, meeting a friend again after all these years, and then realizing that he's into blood play and there's a vampire around. Wait, yeah, food and a drink, not bad. So studious. Following the rules, apart from... I guess there isn't anything particularly bad about wandering the streets early in the morning. So not loitering. Because he had nothing better to do, really. I think that's how it started. Maybe, yeah, your ideas of normal people's world is a little skewed, so yeah, maybe not ask her that. Ask her for an answer. One, unfortunately, the pressure of it all getting on top of him. Was school meant to be fun? Maybe not. Withdraw into yourself and don't. Or at home. Is that why she's wandering the streets, getting up early? The same kind of dumb look spread across his face. Maybe she can start enjoying school life, and him somewhat also. Might be difficult to get straight back into lessons, though. I've got a rival for his time, essentially. I might start adding that to my introductions. Yeah, I'm a human. That's not slightly odd, is it? Why didn't you, or why didn't she reach out to him? What, and dropping that sentence and leaving? Well, a little food for thought. Oh, for God's sake, of course she did. Does she have money? She's not exactly trying to keep out of reach. Her walking is somewhat slow. How is it all going to? Yep, she's definitely not angry. As long as he keeps asking if she's angry. Dick. Yeah, I suppose getting out of a conversation is slightly easier for her. Slightly easier for her just being able to leap. So much exercise tonight. Is she kind of annoyed for his sake? The fact that we got friends who claim to be friends, but even if they drop out of school, seemingly not everything's going all right, and no one's checking in. Really do like the wider background shots. The use of light is done quite well. With a potential bit of aberration. And with the light coming out, I don't think he's going to be able to find a very much. Well, if he leaves it a bit longer. How? Is getting him all bruised up going to affect the taste? It was worth a shot. his role in making her angry, or just because he's got a life of his own, right? There's nothing sordid going on. Just like not being able to tell if someone's a friend or not. Certain experiences are new to him. That was quick. Well, he was chasing after her for most of the early morning. Remember what he was saying before, though? The future of what they have might not be entirely physical that he was aiming for. Hmm. That's yeah, okay. Maybe just trying to be nice and not just shoot her down, saying no. Now, how red is her face going to be after that kind of talking to how he wants to spend his time with her? Don't waste his. Try not to waste your blood. That's her meals. She missed the next down there. I see. Well, she's got her feel from other things there. Accidentally stumbling across the correct things to say there. Unless it's two guys, right? But the idea of him keeping up this sort of double life, a human trying to pretend to be normal, hanging out with a friend, or also this nightlife with a vampire. His schedule would be incredibly busy if he was forced to go to school as well. Day at the school, night with the vampire, morning with human friend. And apart from just probably sleeping during the day, what does Nastya do anytime that she's not with him at all? Apart from searching for other meals, but considering she's not seen anything quite as delicious as his blood in a while. It's kind of amusing because back in primary school, I had a small collection of friends, but they were quite close, and I see none of them anymore. Although one of them does work with my brother, so I hear about him. But I haven't tried speaking to any of them, and I don't know how I would now. So coming across someone that you haven't seen in years, I like that little aspect of the story, especially some that are slightly peculiar. Both being unable to sleep for their own personal reasons. One that just likes to go for a walk. Definitely nothing underlining there. Now, did I have friends I would spend all night hanging out with? Yes. Would we have conversations that really didn't lead to anything, and sometimes no actual talking whatsoever. Yes. Would there be times where friends kiss? I reserve the right not to answer that question. But actually, making sure everyone knows exactly where they are we actually friends? Sometimes just putting the question out in the air, like it. Like she did. That just took a load off of his mind and added a whole shit ton more questions onto it. In fact, he had someone to talk to and friends that out there. Just he never pressed that button on the transceiver. And I think with the introduction of more characters here, actually kind of eating away at his time and Nasna's time, having the dynamic slightly shifted by introducing more people, how they all going to get intermingled and involved, and how they're going to react upon learning that not only do vampires exist, but there is one in somewhat close proximity and feasting on someone you know. At least he doesn't seem to be all too harmed by it. Little bit of blood here and there. He's not completely drained. But also, what exactly are you supposed to do upon learning of a vampire? It's not exactly like you can call the police. Also, as far as fun goes, hang out in the park talking nonsense, sure. But also, watching ants carry the carcass of an insect away to their nest would probably actually excite me more than football. Or any other sports that kids play. I don't know what that says about me as a person, though. Although I think what was kind of glossed over, the fact that both the vampire and the boy didn't quite latch onto, is her, well, Akira saying, school is no fun, being at home is no fun, so she's not enjoying much at the minute. The time that she was spending with him now as a friend was probably the highlight of her days. I wonder just how deep that actually goes, what the issues that she's struggling with. And now the little misunderstanding has been settled between the human and the vampire. I think spending time with the other human friend is not exactly going to be an issue going forward. So at least someone's going to be somewhat happy out of it. Interesting little cast of characters we've got. We've now got as many main named characters as drunk businessmen on a bench. Let that sink in for a minute. But hopefully you enjoyed Call of the Night. A show that does some interesting things, has some quite nice visuals, and probably a question or two down the line for me and how I've lived my life. But if you want to see more, consider leaving a like on the video, maybe even a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel to not miss out. Maybe join onto my Discord. There's sometimes a conversation or two, and a healthy influx of random suspicious accounts and bots, so maybe you can balance that out. But for now, try and get yourselves a bit of rest. It is now almost 2 in the afternoon, so probably time I go to bed. See you in the next one. If you want to join my list of human friends, consider joining onto my Patreon, because every time you support the channel, it helps gives me a reason as to why not to wander the streets at 4 in the morning. And I'm not going to lie, each and every one of you are the lifeblood that keeps my channel alive. So, I do need to thank Noku, Raywin, Sal, Cardboard, Shiwan, Mats, Akane, Guado, Danny Swee, Light Wizard 91, Kite, Diego Zenhausen, Tori Jane, SZ 9870, Croyville, Maxwell, Mega 42, The Hazel 01, and everyone else.